Open Stage would like to acknowledge the Susquehannock peoples, upon whose unceded land we produce this show. Open Stage commits to the work of dismantling the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and the exclusions and erasures of many indigenous peoples that continue today. At Open Stage, we also believe that Black Lives Matter, and you should too. That belief starts with acknowledging plainly how the systems we depend on often operate as if they don't. We at Open Stage proudly stand united with Black people and communities of color during this movement of unrest and uprising. This show is brought to you by Open Stage, a professional theater company. Check out Open Stage's complete list of shows, all of which are offered completely free this season at openstagehbg.com. Thank you and enjoy the show.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of race.
It is so nice to see everyone this evening. Welcome to the Black NewsBeat. Thank you for coming. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. We have a lot to get into tonight as usual. It's going to be a little mix of happy, sad, in between. So hang on for the ride, and we're going to have a good time. So I'm your host, Dr. K, and of course we have a great show tonight. We have so much to cover, as usual. But first, Happy Women's History Month. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's the month we celebrate how we have historically underpaid, underappreciated, and overworked people who've been doing unpaid care work for generations. Yay us! No, we don't like that? Okay. Yay history, but no, really. We salute every woman and every person who has paved a way for all of us to be here tonight and for me to be standing here. So I'm very thankful. So I heard Gib already tell y'all. So please share this. Hey, Gib.
Yes.
Did you share the stream?
I actually did.
You actually shared this?
I actually did. I went on Facebook.
Babe, did you see this? You saw it with your own eyes? Are you sure? All right. Well, share the stream. As I share every show, he says he shared it, but did anybody see it? Okay, all right.
Sometimes I lie.
You see? Okay, so he was honest. So if you are in our area, we have some guests here from Lancaster tonight. Please share the stream with your audiences. People are always like, oh, Kimeka, you're so good at this. Why aren't you famous yet? Did you share the stream? That's always the question. All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is let's check in. Let's see how everybody's doing. How y'all doing? Good. Okay. Well, you want to ask me how I'm doing?
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm all right. Actually, I'm doing pretty darn great. And I see the news has gotten out. Yes, that's right. I have joined the Great Resignation. Dun dun dun. And you guys can please stop sending me my old job posting. Now this is real. Like 4 people were like, "Hey, did you see your job posted? Hey, did you see your job posted?" And I'm like, "What am I going to do? Reapply for the job? I literally just left the job." So I don't know. So please stop sending me that. But what has been interesting is that my gig now is full-time work from home. And by work from home, I do mean that I get up, I roll out of bed like my other work from home folks, throw on a shirt, the best shirt I can find, put on some shorts, and sit at the computer. It's delightful. And look for a new place of employment. It's amazing. But it's beautiful. Oh, but also my car has not moved in a week. So how are y'all doing with this recent push to return to the office, especially when gas is almost $5 a gallon? Did y'all see that? So the other day, somebody noticed it in a couple of states around the country. The gas was 20 cents higher. So if you're going to work on the highway at, let's say, 8 o'clock, by the time 2 o'clock rolled around, gas was 20 cents higher than just riding on the freeway at 8 o'clock. And I'm just very confused as to who makes the decision in the middle of the day to push the gas prices up 20 cents. I'm not sure. So also, if you see a Facebook request from me, yes, my Facebook page did get hacked. We're going to talk about tonight. This is a trend, so secure your accounts, okay? Secure your accounts. Tonight, our guests are so amazing. Help me welcome Kadita Nelson-Kenner. Yes. We also have Mr. Leon Lang is here tonight, one of my faves. And a return guest of the show, wonderful, wonderful person. We're going to talk about his work. And also, Mr. David Matson is here. Council President David Matson. So I'm excited to talk with them, do some little interviews, and find out what's going on. And in the way of finding out what's going on, let's see what else is going on in the country. Let's sweep these streets. How I look? I look all right? Okay. So I never sign my mark. I say this every show, but I'm going to try. So I looked down just now, and I was like, are my feet on the triangle? They are. So I'm very excited about that. So we have a lot to get into tonight. The topics are heavy and light, so bear with me. But I really want to talk about Ukraine, racism, and white supremacy. So it's been a weird last couple of weeks because as you feel in your heart for the people of Ukraine, you also see there's a lot of other underlying and adjacent injustice going on. So, on February 24th, Russia launched military operations in eastern Ukraine. To date, nearly 2 million people have fled Ukraine. There's been an outpouring of public support, including financial assistance from the U.S. And just like any significant event witnessed in real time, it has been filled with what the hell moments. From people lusting after Ukraine's president, to journalists and news anchors off the cuff, on-air comments about how this is not just your typical war, and what a tragedy it is because the people are Christian, blonde hair and blue-eyed, and gasp, civil-eyed. That was an actual word that somebody used on air. Are they suggesting that these aren't the usual savage darkies that the colonial powers bomb or displace? Now, this graphic is of a Nigerian student named Jessica Orapko. She's doing an interview with BBC about the racism she faced trying to flee Ukraine. So can we talk about that? Can we talk about how non-white people in Ukraine have been treated during this time? There is footage of Africans, including women and children, being denied entry onto transportation during evacuation. Arab college students on their way to Poland detailed their experience of being forced to give up their seats to Ukrainians. It should come as no surprise that a Congolese man doubled over in laughter after being asked if he would fight in a war, especially since soldiers on both sides said they can't tell who is who amongst themselves. As I wrap up this segment, I also want to draw attention and add my concern to what is happening with WNBA player Brittany Griner. Did you guys hear about her? Brittany Griner, who was playing in Russia during the off-season. The public learned last week that she had been detained by Russian customs almost 3 weeks ago, so a little bit before the conflict. And while the details remain relatively unclear, her wife has asked for privacy as they work to bring her home. So keep her in your thoughts. It must be really scary over there. There are so many black and brown journalists who are reporting on this. There's actually a brilliant black scholar, I'll put it in the chat for you guys, that is, she's been studying Ukraine for several years, did her PhD on some of the conflict in Ukraine, and she's been keeping us abreast of the contradictions between the Ukrainian people and what is happening with black and brown people in Ukraine as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is what happened to me. Let's talk about my Facebook got hacked. So, everybody said, oh, it's just Facebook, until, okay, you run a business, until your credit card is attached, until you have other things linked to it. So the answer is no, Facebook is not safe. Several reports of FB being hacked and users losing their accounts have surfaced, but this time it's been a coordinated attack. And I'm wondering if there's an entity out there that is really trying to take down Facebook. I'm a big Facebook conspiracy theorist, so just bear with me. So this is happening to a lot of people in Harrisburg too, so maybe over the last month, 9 of my friends, we all just lost and some people I don't like, all lost our Facebook accounts. And so I started seeing people's new accounts pop up. I'm like, why do they? Well, I thought they already had, and then it happened to me. I'm sitting on my couch one night, and I'm like, what are all these notifications? What is happening? And within 2 minutes, boom, locked out of my account. 2 days later, they took $250 out of my bank account, and I had to clean everything. So This is happening to many people in the area and around the world. From Australia to Oklahoma, the method is clear. 1, hack the account. 2, post illicit images of children. 3, gain access to other accounts that are connected to Facebook. So how to secure? Turn on your TFA and your recovery codes, but once this happens, it's gone. So you have to prepare for it in advance. Also, if you run your businesses, be extra careful. Make sure you have secure admin and a moderator plan. Make sure there are people who are not connected to you, who are not connected to your IP address, because that's what happened to me. Folks who were connected to my IP address were also locked off from being admins on my pages. So make sure you have people who are in different places who can admin your page in the event that something like this happens, especially those of us who use social media very frequently. Make sure you have a secure admin and moderator plan. That's how I was able to keep most of my business pages, but I still lost a couple, and it was real rough. So for my next piece, this one's quite dear to my heart, okay? So I don't know if you guys saw in the last couple of weeks, I don't know if y'all talked about it on TCP, if y'all, shout out to y'all. TCP is in the house tonight, right. So TCP, they're my favorite people, the cultural professionals. They have a morning show every morning. I always try to pop in there and be like, hey, family, what's up? That's me. Nice to meet you. And so I don't know if you guys talked about this on the show, but I want to talk about how one Chingy meme revived Chingy in our hearts and minds. Anybody been thinking about Chingy? Does anybody know who Chingy is? That's the first question. Second, when's the last time you thought about Chingy? Years ago? Right there, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. So one day, as I was on an extremely deep and endless black hole scroll, you know the one, you start on one thing and you end up on something over there in, I don't know, the deep blue sea. I don't know. I came across a Chingy meme, and then another, and then another. After several more years of scrolling, I soon saw that an Estee Lauder executive, which is real weird, had shared one of those memes that had gotten fired. What? All your faves reported it. The Shade Room, the Jasmine brand, all hip hop, and a whole bunch of others. The meme said, my naker, but they didn't say naker, Snuffy done got the Rona at a Chingy concert. It also had the words, a little golden book, and the Sesame Street sign on it. Snuffy looked sick as hell, he did, in a hospital bed, and Big Bird was there visiting him with a mask on. So for me, it was like combining a couple things. It was combining like my childhood memories, Sesame Street, coronavirus, and it was very interesting. I laughed, I thought it was funny. But why did the man get fired? He stated, yes, he was a white man. Yes, he had been at Estee Lauder for 30 years. And I still can't figure out why this 65-year-old white man shared this Chingy meme. So why did this man get fired? He stated he didn't know what he was sharing and didn't realize the meme was so racist. It was bizarre. Did he not read the meme? Or did he read it and laugh? We'll never know. But that's not the part of the story that intrigued me. Who, pray tell, on God's green earth was making Chingy memes, and why? That was my question. Enter Chris Taliaferro, host of the Things You Don't See podcast. Chris makes memes about Chingy for no damn reason at all, except that he really loves Chingy. Do y'all remember Chingy? Right there, somebody said it. Holiday Inn. Now, I learned a little tidbit. He changed the word holiday with the E to the Y to the E so that he could get out of like issues with Holiday Inn. I did not know that. I learned that in my interview with Chris. But surely I was not thinking about him before last week. So I tracked Chris down to find out more. He graciously granted me an interview, and it was awesome. He apparently makes at least one Chingy meme a day. He even made one today, for which just happens to be Chingy's birthday. Happy birthday, Chingy! Chris's retelling of it all is so delightful. Take a look at this clip of our interview.
Chingy, it's your birthday. God bless you this day. You gave us a gift of some classic hip-hop, and we're loving you today. Chingy, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Chingy.
I'm sitting here with the Chris Taliaferro of Things You Don't See Every Day podcast, and he has a great story to tell us. And he was gracious enough when I tagged him on an Instagram post to be like, I'll do an interview with you. And I'm like, I feel like I have hit the jackpot. Just want you to know that, okay? So thank you very much for being here with us. So first, tell everybody about you. Like, who are you? And just give us, how you became a star. You know what I'm saying?
okay, well, I don't know if I would call myself a star. It's like, oh, pump the brakes on that. I'm still, I don't know, kind of aggressively poor. It's fine. I almost didn't put this Chingy meme out.
That's crazy.
because I swear to you, because when in the meme, and I'm sure we'll talk about the meme itself a little later, but in the meme itself, I put a surgical mask on Big Bird, and it did, because Big Bird doesn't have ears, because he's a bird. There wasn't anything for his ears to loop on, and that bothered me so much that I almost didn't do it. So, fingers crossed. I am really hoping that I can work with him in some capacity.
Absolutely.
That's what this is all about, and that was the end game from the start.
Well, as you can see, he's delightful. And he was just the pick-me-up I needed in the middle of this Ukraine madness. So if you are on all of the things, TikTok, the Instagrams, look for Chris Taliaferro. He's on Instagram. And then on TikTok, it's Things You Don't See Every Day podcast, that whole thing. Or Things You Don't See Every Day, and that's his podcast page. So please follow him. He's awesome. And also, the whole interview will be up on the gram tonight. So please follow the Black News Beat, and you can get to learn more about him. He's pretty dope. This segment coming up is my favorite. So Movies and Melanin in 2022. Okay, so we're watching a lot of things. And tonight we're going to talk a little about, I love this segment because I love TV. TV is an escape for me, especially sitcoms, into a world that I am not in, where I don't have to worry about nothing. I love it, okay? So tonight we're going to talk about TV dramas and Black women's history in TV. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Cheryl Lee Ralph. Did y'all see these people on the internet talking about some? Who is Cheryl Lee Ralph? Do y'all know who Cheryl Lee Ralph is? Okay, see, these folks here know who Cheryl. That's because most of them are Black. Yeah, she is Black famous, but I love us. But some of us have been under a rock because how do people not know who the living legend Cheryl Lee Ralph is? It being Women's History Month, we have to stand. She's amazing. Recently, Cheryl recounts a story where she was on the set where she was asked, "What have you done and what have you been in?" That sent the girls who get it into a frenzy. I'm one of the girls, I get it. And we were gonna help educate those who don't. When you say that you don't know who Cheryl Lee Ralph is, you're saying you don't know a Tony Award-winning Broadway legend. She's a legend. She was literally Dina in Dreamgirls, the original Dreamgirls. And many of her television movies and roles, one of my all-time faves being Florence Watson, mother to who? Who is she mother to? Rita Louise Watson in Sister Act 2. That's right. And also Moesha's mom. Any other roles that we know? There's a couple out there. Not to mention that she is fashion royalty. Her mother, Ivy Ralph, created the Kariba suit back in the 70s, and everybody's uncle had a Kariba. I'm just saying, we know about Cheryl Lee Ralph around here. You should make it your business to learn about this woman during Women's History Month start by watching Abbott Elementary. Anybody watching Abbott? It's so good, you guys. If you're not watching Abbott Elementary, I implore you, please, first of all, Quinta B is one of my favorite people. I've been following her since the old school days when she was doing like Vine and YouTube way back. Remember that? So, my new favorite show, and I'm so sad every time it's done. Another friend of mine said that too. It's a perfect segue into, if you're a fan of The Office, Parks and Rec, and those style of shows, then Abbott Elementary is for you. Created by Quinta B, He Got Money Bronson, who became viral on Vine, has now used her Black girl comedy magic to create what is becoming ABC's new hit comedy. And it actually broke some records for the most views for an ABC sitcom in, I think, the longest time. So that's an amazing accomplishment for her. It follows the saga of a Philadelphia charter school trying to provide the best education while under some crazy circumstances that only teachers working in America understand the most. While Abbott is hilarious AF, always, it truly shares the importance of providing quality education to Black and brown students. And my favorite thing about it is that Quinta's character, Janine Teeks, Everybody got a Janine Teeks in their school. I taught for 5 years. Everybody got one. They're so perky, ready for the day, and they're always getting their hopes crushed, but they are the joy that keeps the school together, and I'm always happy to have a Janine Teeks in my school. Every time. I was never a Janine Teeks. I was always this close to cussing the kids out. Anyway. So you can catch Abbott Elementary on ABC's Tuesdays at 9 p.m. That was last night, so that means there's a new episode up today, because I don't have cable. We'll talk about that, too. I think a new episode is also premiering on 322, and you can also catch up on Hulu. Oh, I always am sad when this segment's over. Like I said, I love Melanin on TV. It's great. Now we'll go to our little segue here. It's a live commercial. So first I want to say this show is brought to you both by the Young Professionals of Color and by Open Stage, where we are tonight. So I want to say, yes, absolutely, all the praise and adoration. Really, truly. I try to tell a snippet of this every time, but I met Chris here, Gibby, affectionately known as Gibby, who is the showrunner and hype man, in summer 2020, and literally the rest was history, I would say. And it's been such a wonderful partnership, and we are very thankful for Open Stage. We're thankful for everything that Open Stage represents and hosting us and helping us to grow this idea, which started as literally a 4.5-minute segment. So thank you very much, Open Stage. So I always want to say that this is a partnership. Please patronize the theater. Please become a member of YPOC. People always say, who can join my POC? Do you have to be young? Nope, young as you feel. Do you have to be a POC? Nope, if you support POCs, come on down, okay? Our yearly calendar is up. We have 2 events that we want you to come to this month. We have happy hour on the last Thursday of the month. It will be at District Bar and Grill. And we also have board games and brunch at Good Brothers on the 3rd Saturday of the month. So check out our website and our Facebook page for more. Juneteenth is coming. Juneteenth, we're really not that far. And we have been planning Juneteenth since last August. So Juneteenth is coming. We have a slate of events planned. Our big drop is going to be on March 17th. You're going to find out about the slate of events we have planned through the city. And of course, as always, we need you to become a member. We need you to join a committee because we have a lot to pull off in 2022, okay? And it's not too late to join and help us out with that. All right. Well, we made it through the first segment. How did I do? Well, that's a record if I've ever seen one, okay? I'm looking at the time. Okay, so we'll be right back after this with our first guest. Y'all okay? Y'all all right? Okay. All right. We'll be right back.
What up, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, PA, Harrisburg, whatever you said. Coming back to Club XL. The last time I was there, we tore it down. I was with talent. It's going to be Wednesday. Wednesday, what month we in? March the 16th. Get your tickets right now. Down in Rollins, Talent Weekend, Wednesday, Talent, whatever. Just do it all over the place. I'll be all over the place. Let's go.
Are so kind. I really like you guys tonight. I do. The energy is amazing. Okay, so for my first guest this evening, we have Mr. David Matson, a Community Service Education Director for the PA-AFL-CIO, Public Works Chair for the Harrisburg City Council, and most recently, running for the 104th District in PA House of Representatives. He also grew up in Middletown. Come on down, Mr. Matson. How you doing? Well, don't you look smashing?
I try.
Yeah,
Try to look the part.
You try and you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's going well. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
It's a great setup. Warm atmosphere.
You would like it.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, thanks for having me.
Of course, it's my pleasure to have you. I'm so happy that I know we tried to get you a couple times on for the comp plan discussions that we were having, and so it's nice to have you on now, especially with your big news. But we won't
Thank
start
you.
with that. We'll go
Okay.
with that. So I have some questions here. Okay.
Good.
So first question is, you grew up in Middletown, and you
Yep.
currently reside in Bellevue Park. So you're like Central PA all the way.
Yep.
Wow.
Born and
Okay.
raised.
So how long have you lived in the city?
I've lived in the city since 2014.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I moved as a young professional when I got a job at the Department of Revenue, working for the state. And at the time, I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I had a lemon for a car. So commuting wasn't really that much of an option for me.
Right.
So I had to find a place where I could walk to work. So I worked at a Strawberry Square here. And so from those conditions, I would park my lemon in a safe place where I couldn't get ticketed in Midtown, and would walk to work. And so that brought me to the city, and loved it, and decided I wanted to spend the rest of my life here.
Absolutely. Well, it's quite a nice city. I, as you can tell, I love it here. So
Yeah, it's charms.
it's a great place.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, every place has things, but I really do like it here. You also work for one of the largest labor unions, the AFL-CIO in PA, and you've been on city council as well since 2017.
Yep.
So why are you so drawn to public service?
Well, I studied it. I started off getting my bachelor's in political science, and then went on to get my master's in comparative politics. And when you study it, you can't help but want to interact and be in politics at some stage. And so I decided, you know, I wanted to just get involved at the local level. Started off just being a volunteer for local candidates, and then got involved in the Democratic Party, became president of the local Young Democrats chapter, started it. Did that for 6 years, and then after a while, when you work for various candidates, you start to get that bug in your head saying, I could do this.
Right.
And so when the opportunity came to run for Harrisburg City Council, because there was an open seat, I jumped at it. And at the time, I think you'll recall, it wasn't necessarily the most sexy thing to do in the world. There was a lot going on with the city's budget.
Really true.
You know, I compared, and my colleagues as well, a lot of us got in it for the right reasons. It was, you know, it was the equivalent of being a firefighter and running into a burning building,
Right.
just not sure if you were going to make it out alive. But worked with some great civil servants and some great people, and we've really turned the city around, I believe, for the better. Still ways to go. Thank you. But, you know, I think we're heading in the right direction, particularly with the new leadership that the city chose this past cycle.
Right.
So I'm excited.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. We are very lucky to have you on City Council, so thank you for everything that you do. But I am intimately aware of all the things that happen with City Council. So you have been serving for, wow, I can't believe it's been almost 5 years.
I can't either. Yeah, it makes too much.
Time flies, like
It
really
does.
for real.
Yeah.
And with all the things you've seen, and with all the service you've put into council, you were like, let me be responsible for more constituents and run for PA House.
Right. Yeah, that, you know, that really wasn't the plan. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, you know, hey, you're going to run for state rep, I would have said, no, that's Patty Kim's district, and she's safe, and I like Patty. But with the new districts being drawn, I took a look at that seat, and there was nobody in it or occupying it, and it's a lot of the area that I grew up in. It has a little sliver of Middletown right by where I grew up as a kid. I spent a lot of time in that part of the district. A proud product of the Sharp Shopper.
Yes, the Sharp Shopper is everything.
If you're not familiar with Sharp Shopper, please go.
Everything.
I go there all the time with my mom, and I get my drinks and stuff there.
Best prices on strawberries in the region.
Yes, it is a gem. And just there's so many staples from growing up in the area. I used to go every Friday to Pizza Delight to get wings and stuff with my friends before we'd go to the movies. And you know, that's right there on Dairy. Obviously, I live in the city now, so, and the ASPE Conference Center is where I got my start in politics, but also as a labor organizer. So that entire district is just something I know very intimately, and just really want to get and serve it in the legislature. That's
awesome. So tell me how you are thinking, or how you responded. So we know you responded to the redistricting by jumping into the rate. That's a first thing that you did. But also, I heard a lot of grumblings around the redistricting and how it may not be fair. I actually did an interview with WIY, just talking with different residents around the region about this. So like, what do you, if you could give any words of comfort and kind of calms. Folks are very nervous about what this redistricting means for them,
Right.
for their communities. What do you think is an important thing for folks to consider with this redistricting and how it can affect them?
So overall, there's never a perfect way to draw fair maps. I do believe, compared to the maps we had previously, this is a fair map drawer districts. Before, I think everybody's pretty much familiar with the term gerrymandering, but folks aren't familiar with that term. It's essentially when politicians or partisans draw the map so it favors their political party. And the last maps that were drawn were very, very skewed towards Republicans. And we don't want gerrymandering. And look, in fairness, Democrats do it in certain states as well.
Absolutely.
So it's just been a trick that politicians have done for a long time now, and it disenfranchises voters because people don't run if they don't think there's really a chance for running, and people don't vote if they don't think that they're going to vote for somebody that represents their values.
Absolutely.
So there's been a lot of reform within the last 10 years to get fair maps. Some states have done this through a different couple of ways. They have independent commissions that are not partisans. Essentially, they draw the maps, and it's just, for lack of a better term, data nerds, essentially, that sit there and map it out and draw it. So it's just as fair as can be. We had a little bit of a hybrid process here. There was a commission appointed by the legislators and the governor that drew the map. Now, the difference this time that's changed things is you have a Democratic governor and you have a Democratic majority in the Supreme Court. And so because of the checks and balances being in place compared to 10 years ago when it was all Republican majority, it allowed for there to be fair maps, essentially. And the map that I'm running in, or the district I'm running in, was drawn to have a person of color win, essentially, because the demographics lean that way in the districts, and that's to make sure that there's more representation of people of color in the state legislature, which we really do need. We need more women, we need more people of color, we just need all diversity. When you look at the pictures of folks up there, I'm not trying to bash a certain demographic group, it just could look a little bit more diverse.
Maybe just a little tiny bit, to sprinkle a little.
Trying to be as politically correct as I can with that.
You leave the other stuff to me. We need more black and brown people. Period. Okay. So So we'll leave that part.
But to address the concerns, I hear it. I get it. Candidly, this happened so quickly. It was a quick turnaround. I still, a lot of people, I'm going out getting petition signatures, talking to people in the district, and they're like, are you running against Patty Kim?
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, I'm not. And I'm trying to explain what's happening. And that's what I've been spending a lot of my time on doors. It's not I'm talking about pocketbook issues that voters care about. I've been spending a lot of time explaining the entire process to people.
People don't know what the heck just happened.
No, they don't.
It changed and they don't like it.
And people aren't necessarily in this as much as us politicos are. And so when they get confused, they get skeptical. And when you lose that trust, then that angers them, and then they get frustrated. And I think we're seeing a lot of that, and that's just simply because of how the process has gone down. While I think it was well intentioned, the political process, I can't speak for every state, but here in Pennsylvania especially, doesn't come with a lot of education and outreach per se.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And so what ends up happening is folks like us in the community have to educate our folks. But the thing is, I think what should have happened is they should have extended the primary, right? They didn't do that. It's May 17th.
Yeah.
So a primary, and a primary is already pretty quick when you think about it. This
quick.
primary is less than 90 days.
Yeah, and that's
like
time.
a hop, right? And
especially for collecting signatures and all the things you have to do to even get on the ballot.
Well, and now you have early voting.
And now you have early voting.
So people can vote by mail, and a lot of primary voters tend to do that because they tend to pay the most attention.
That's right.
And so it shortens the election even more.
Yeah.
And so as a result, and what they're talking about now at the Supreme Court is you have to get a certain amount of petitions to get on the ballot.
Yeah.
They're making that window for state representative and state senate 9 days. Right. And 100 signatures or 300 signatures is a lot. You have to have a lot of infrastructure behind you. So the truth is it's going to favor a lot of incumbents. People that already have that infrastructure, or people that are operatives or have that base knowledge.
Have the name recognition, all those things.
And that's not how the process should work.
Right.
It should be accessible to anybody that would like to run.
That's right.
And I think, a lot of people are going to not understand the process. A lot of people are going to get excluded from the process that would like the opportunity to run. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
And that is something that, folks should be angry about. And that's something that if elected in the state legislature, I'd like to, or
Address, yes,
address
absolutely.
even as a city council person as well.
Absolutely.
But I think the thing to do now is, it's already baked in, is to just get out there and educate folks on the process, and, listen, I want this is as a competitive as a process as it can be. I want to earn this seat. So if there are folks that are interested in running, I encourage them to do so. This district deserves our very best and brightest, and so I hope to, I hate the word compete, but run along them, with them,
folks.
and offer as many opportunities to folks in the district as possible. So I think out here on the show, out anywhere I can, just educating folks and encouraging everybody watching that's in a space to do that, to do that and
That's
get
awesome.
involved.
Thank you so much. Well, will you stick around for a moment? Just kind of hang out with us for a second?
Yeah, love to.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came. And that,
Thank you.
I just want to say I really do say thank you for all the work that you do in this region. And I'm really rooting for you. Whatever you do next, however it shakes out, I really do hope you continue to be in public service. So thank
Appreciate
you
that.
very
I
much
will
for
be.
everything.
Thank you.
David Matson, everybody. And we will be, thank you. We'll be right back with our next guest. All right, see you in a sec.
Are you looking to broaden your skills in digital media creation? Are you looking to be a part of a great team? Well, we need you. The Black News Beat will be trying to fill various positions to help make our show a great success. We'll be looking for tech assistants to help on set. We'll be looking for writers to help write the show every single episode. Also need digital media assistants. Absolutely need some live audience coordinator. We'd love to open up these opportunities to high school and college students. We'd love for you to intern with us and learn more about the business and get your feet wet with a great company at Open Stage. So if you're interested, please let us know. We'll be taking applications via email. You can email us at Kimeka@kimeka.org. That's KIMEKA @KIMEKA.org. Hope to see you on the set soon.
Thank you guys so much. I wish y'all could see this on. There's like 7 people in here, but it's not like 100. You see what I'm saying? That's how it should be. Energy, energy, energy. Okay, so this guest that we are about to talk about tonight and introduce you to tonight in the Harrisburg region is doing great work. So Kimeka Campbell is the founding executive director of the New Pennsylvania Project. She's our very own Stacey Abrams, and actually has met Stacey Abrams, okay? And a voting rights organization modeled after the successful New Georgia Project founded by Stacey Abrams in 2014. Born in Pittsburgh, attended Lincoln University as a student athlete, and is also a Temple graduate. And she's gonna talk to us about her work tonight. Please welcome Miss Kimeka Campbell. Oh my goodness, aren't you beautiful?
You as well.
Thank you so much. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
So first of all, you probably get the award for coming the furthest.
Yes.
So tell everybody where you're coming from.
Well, I'm coming from outside of King of Prussia. I did live in Harrisburg for about 5 years, but I just moved out and back to Chester County in August.
Now, why would you do that? Why would you leave us?
You know, I want to get closer to my parents.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, they're getting a little older, so I want to be closer to my parents.
Yeah, I completely feel that 100%. My mom just had her birthday, and I rushed down there to be with her because how many more birthdays will you get? You don't know, right?
As many as I can hopefully get in.
That's exactly right. So I think you're quite amazing. I want to say thank you. This is the first time I'm meeting you in person.
Yes.
And so I just want to say thank you for even answering my text message. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
I appreciate that. So I think your work is really important, especially being here in the state capitol, because I think burgeoning on to make a new Pennsylvania as far as a new voter landscape is such an important endeavor, right? So my first question for you is, you've had quite the career, from various roles in retail to policy and politics to sports broadcasting.
I did. You heard of the CIAA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to produce their football and basketball games.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's amazing to me. So let's see what else you've done. And now you're serving as the founding director for the New Pennsylvania Project.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about your incredible journey?
Yeah. I've done a lot of things like others have done. I've changed careers multiple times. We go to college the first time around and we think we want to do something and it's not really what we wanted to do. Maybe we go back to college and change up, and that's what I did. I had a life of retail and restaurant management, retail, restaurant management, and then I went into sports TV. I always wanted to be Pam Oliver. That was my thing.
Ooh.
Pam Oliver. I wanted to be Pam Oliver. That was my thing. And so I did. I went back to school. I went to Temple and got my degree in journalism.
Oh, that's amazing.
Communications, journalism, and got really lucky and found a job in North Carolina after graduation to a smaller media market. I knew ESPNU was there.
Wow.
So 2 days living in North Carolina, I was working at ESPN.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a big deal. Yeah. Like, big deal. And reading it, but then hearing you say all of it, it just sounds even more just impossible for anyone else to do. Okay, so like how it's like going from retail to sports to now doing this amazingly difficult, but I'm sure fulfilling work. So tell me, how's it been going so far? The New Pennsylvania Project is modeled after the Georgia Project, founded by Stacey Abrams. Why do you think that model will work in PA, and what are you hoping to accomplish with the New Pennsylvania Project in this state?
It must work in Pennsylvania. There are 1.1.
Amen. Say it one more time.
It must work.
Yes.
It will work. Right? There are 1.1 million Pennsylvanians who are eligible to vote but not registered.
Wow. Over 1 million?
Over 1 million.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's 20% of all black folks.
Wow.
That is 32% of Latinx folks.
These numbers are astounding.
That is more than 40% of the API community. Oh, wow. That is too many folks of color not registered to vote and being involved in the electorate. And that is an institutional failure on the part of elected officials. I'm going to give it to everybody. On government itself, on the departments, to not educate constituents so that they actually have a reason to come out here and cast a ballot.
That's right. Everybody can get it. All of them.
Right.
They deserve
They
it
can
too.
all get it.
Period. So you cite Westchester, PA, as a native and political organizer and strategist. Bayard Rustin as your hero.
Yes.
Tell us about that. What legacy do you think he left behind for us?
Yeah, Bayard Rustin. I'm from Westchester, PA. Actually, I was born out in Monroeville, outside of Pittsburgh, right? But I really grew up in Westchester. And I didn't know too much about Bayard Rustin growing up, even though he was from Westchester. We didn't really learn about him in high school. You learned about MLK, you learned about Rosa Parks, but there's so many other icons out there that we never heard about.
Or you hear about them like in passing, right?
Passing. And hopefully in passing. And so Bayard Rustin to me is someone who was able to organize the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963 without Facebook, without Twitter, without email,
talk about it,
without any type of social media. Got 500,000 people to show up on the National Mall for jobs and freedom, right? And so we all know about the I Have a Dream speech, and we can recite that probably by heart, but we don't know about Bayard Rustin. And they kept that man in the closet because he was a gay man. And that time just wasn't a popular thing to be.
That's right.
And so I like to, I travel with a picture of him, and I travel the state, and I bring forward his work because he was discounted.
Wow.
And so when we're out here fighting for liberation, we need to fight for liberation for everybody.
Everybody. That's right.
Everybody.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Agree. That really deserves applause, because one of the things I'm going to throw a bit, it's not really a curveball, but it's just a question for you. How do we fight for, especially among black and brown folks, what is your suggestion and from all the experience you've had, for fighting for justice for all, especially all black and brown, BIPOC, BMEs, whatever we're calling them today, all the monikers we use, right? Because what I'm finding is people, this is something that Tanya Lovelace says all the time, the former president of the Women of Color Network, that there are people who are on the margins of the margins, right? We're talking people who are black, transgender, gay, LGBTQ, across the spectrum, and it feels like sometimes that while we're fighting for justice, we leave them behind.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on how we bring everyone into the fold?
Yeah, we have to bring everybody into the fold. As I said earlier, when you're fighting for liberation, you must fight for liberation for all. None of us are free until all of us are free. And so I think where we have an opportunity is in education. There's just so much we don't know and know about each other, and I think that if we're actually able to educate folks out there about the issues and about the different experiences people are out here living through, I think that's the best way. I talk all the time about the fact that we have so many people who are unregistered to vote.
Yes.
And there's a reason why, right? So they just don't feel as though, number one, that elected officials work for them.
Absolutely.
They don't see their needs being met. And that could be if they're casting a ballot or not. They don't see their lives changing for the better, or they think everything is predetermined. And so they think that by not casting a ballot doesn't matter because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But we're never going to get our needs met as a community. Black folks, brown folks, we're not going to get our needs met unless elected officials fear us. And in this moment, there is no reason for them to fear us if our vote is not consistent.
That's right. That's right.
So, I'm going to say back in the day, right? Back in the day, I'm someone who reveres my ancestors. All the work that I do is to honor my ancestors and to bring honor to my ancestors. And so back in the day, it was enough to just say to somebody, your people fought and died for your right to vote. You have to come out and cast a ballot. That's just not enough nowadays.
Not enough.
It's not enough. We have to give people a reason to support each other and to come out here and get involved in the electorate. And it's by having a representative democracy is what's going to help us to do that. I'm going to go into the fact that we have the announcement of the first possible justice for the United States Supreme Court, right? I mean, that moment for me, it was like my birthday and Christmas and everything rolled into one.
Absolutely.
I literally cried tears of joy.
Absolutely right.
It was joy that day because there was a woman named Ketanji.
Amazing, right?
Kimeka Ketanji. To have a woman named Ketanji, the possibility of her sitting on the United States Supreme Court, just amazing.
Yes.
And look how long it took.
Took forever.
233 years it took. So it's just so exciting, the opportunities that are in front of us. But we have to cast ballots to make sure a woman like a Ketanji can reach the United States Supreme Court because we need our U.S. senators to confirm her.
Correct. And it's a direct reflection of the fact also that black women are what take Democrats over the line every time. 96%, 94%. Voting Democrat, people have a lot of problems with that, but it's always black women that take them over that line.
Absolutely, and it's past time that someone named Ketanji Brown Jackson reaches the Supreme Court.
That's right.
I've put tens of thousands of miles on my car. I've been to jail 3 times to ensure that this day came to be, and that my mother, who turned 75 this year, does not leave this earth without seeing a black woman on that bench.
Amen. Amen. That just gave me chills. That's so amazing. So last question, because I could talk to you all night, but we ain't got all night. How can people get involved with the new Pennsylvania Project? And I definitely want to get involved. I'm giving you my word on camera that I want to be involved.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Amen.
There's lots of ways. Number one, we all know social media is important in this moment. So follow us, like us. But the big thing you can do is just register someone in your life to vote.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about the young folks for a minute. Only 1 in 4 high school students who are eligible to vote in Pennsylvania are registered to vote.
Wow.
1 in 4.
Wow.
So that means you have a 17-year-old in your life, a cousin, a play cousin. Somebody in your life is 17 years old right now, right? Yeah. Who will be 18 in November. Register them to vote right now.
That's great.
Register them to vote right now, and they get a birthday gift in the mail, which is the voter registration card.
Absolutely.
So you can do that. Talk to the people in your life, because somebody in your life is not registered. When I tell you that 20% of all black folks are registered to vote, that's 1 in 5 of your cousins not registered to vote.
That's right.
Get them registered to vote. Explain to them the importance of casting a ballot so people can feel us.
Amen to that.
Feel us and our power and start to get our needs met.
Amen to that.
So do that. Register someone in your life. Have conversations. We want to say that this is not something we want to talk about around the dining room table. If we're not going to talk about it there, where are we going to talk about it? Talk about what is happening in the world with the people that you know. So register people that are in your life to vote. Encourage everyone to come out and cast a ballot, because if they don't, they could find themselves taken off the voter rolls.
Yeah.
So cast a ballot in every election, right? Twice a year. Let's start to get our needs met.
That's right.
So that's what they can do, and it takes money to do this.
Yep.
So we say it costs about $40 to register one person to vote who's been hard to reach. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
And so as a project of ours, we're trying to register 50,000 voters in 2022. We want to register 200,000 voters by the 2024 election. Times that by $40, and how much does that cost?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a lot of money.
Yes.
So if you want to support us, come out and volunteer. We have those opportunities. Talk to the people that you know, or give us some money so we can do this work.
I'm going to give you some money. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to do all of it. Thank you so much for being with us. This is wonderful. Khadija Kenner, everyone, please follow the New Pennsylvania Project online, on the Facebooks, I'm guessing Twitters, the Instagrams, all of it. And will you stick around for a couple minutes, play a game with us? Delightful. Thank you very much. Khadija Kenner, everyone. Thank you. We'll be right back with our next guest. About you, but that last guest was just amazing. Khadija Kenner just really blew it right open for me, and I feel energized to go out there and do more good work. I'm so excited. So last guest of the evening, Mr. Leon Lang. He is a journalist, photographer, and activist. I often wonder how people have such an eye. Like when you see, we'll look at some of his photos tonight, has such an eye for what they capture and what they're thinking. So we're going to get into his mind, his creative mind tonight. Please welcome Mr. Leon Lang. And I should say, welcome back in person.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you remember the first time we had some technical difficulties.
Listen, we was in here with the internet going crazy. We're like, is he here? Oh, wait, is he on the? Yes, so I'm glad that we are in the phase 2 phase,
Yes,
right?
it was like the heart of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was like the highest point of the pandemic, I think. And that was, we didn't know when we were going to come. We didn't even know if we were going to be in like what that was even going to be like. And yeah, it's very, very interesting time. Yes. So how's the pandemic treating you? So far, so good. I'm boosted.
Period. Just trying to get adjusted. It's surreal. Yeah. I'm a germaphobe, so I try to, follow all the protocol.
Absolutely.
I've been, doing protocol before, even before the pandemic. Sanitizing.
Oh, you mean like you were actually washing your hands? Yeah. You were singing the birthday song 2 times through?
There you go.
Yes, okay.
Holding door handles with a napkin.
Yes. Kicking it with your foot. That's me. Sorry, that was me. So yeah, it's been a rough pandemic, and I always wonder how especially creatives deal with that. So how were some of your creative juices affected by going through such a really difficult time in history?
Good question. It just so happened that during the pandemic we had the whole George Floyd situation, so I kind of switched gears. I've always covered politics, but I mostly cover the entertainment industry. But I'm passionate about both politics, activism, as well as the music. So during the pandemic, I was covering a lot of rallies at that time. So. You just get creative, improvise, do the best you can.
Absolutely. So you've covered, we chatted a little bit before the show, and you've photographed and covered so many different stories. You write too. You're not just a photographer. You write beautiful, moving pieces about the photographs that you take. Really amazing.
Thank you.
We'll put his information in the chat so you guys can take a look at his work, his blog. But you've photographed some pretty special people, so tell us about some of your faves.
I've been blessed to photograph some pretty famous people. I would say one of my most memorable events that I covered was right up the street here, Obama, when he was running for president back in 2008, March 2008, so it's been a while. That was probably one of my most memorable events that I covered, because I had a good feeling that he was going to win. He had a pretty good team behind him. So that was really memorable. At the time, I was using my father's Minolta film camera. So yeah, this was before I bought my digital. So that was memorable as well, just using my father's camera. I would say another memorable event would have been the rapper Drake, because I'm a huge Drake fan. I got a chance to meet him, and that was memorable because he had performed about a day or two after Joe Paterno got fired.
Oh my God!
So this was at Penn State.
Yeah.
This was at the Bryce Jordan Center.
I was there for that concert.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, Drake's awesome, you know, and he brought a good, some good opening acts. He brought A$AP Rocky, who lived in Harrisburg. A$AP Rocky once lived in Harrisburg before he blew up, and then also he brought Kendrick Lamar. So that was a pretty memorable show.
Very memorable show.
Yeah.
I was there. I didn't even understand what A$AP Rocky was at the time. So I have a couple more things. You photographed hometown heroes and folks ranging from Nicole Hannah-Jones for the 1619 Project and the late Michael K. Williams. When did you even get started in the whole game?
I would say I actually started during college. I attended Hack, and at the time I was an art student, and just trying to figure things out, you know, as a college student, just trying to figure out your strengths and weaknesses. And then I decided to switch to English and journalism, and started writing for the paper, and decided to cover the Million Man March. And it was pretty convenient because not only was I able to cover the show, but my wife, she was attending Howard University, so I was able to go visit her as well. So that's how I got my start. I went down to DC, wrote a story about the Million March, and also took photos down there.
Oh, wow.
Again, with my dad's Minolta, because this was in 1995. I'm showing my age.
I was going to say, don't tell everybody our secrets.
It's all good. But no, this was back in 95, so that's where I got my start, and then I transferred to Westchester University, worked for the student newspaper there, and that's where I started covering entertainment. One of the first people I interviewed was Bill Bellamy.
Oh, wow.
So that was crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially during that time.
Yeah, during, I was a college student. Bill Bellamy was huge at that time.
Absolutely.
So, he was doing movies and things like that. So that was major. So, and from there I just, came back to Harrisburg and wanted to fill a void.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. And it was so interesting about where we are placed here. So many amazing people come through Harrisburg. So cool to me. In your bio, you call yourself a journalist, a photographer, and an activist. How does your activism influence your work?
Again, I've been doing it from the very beginning. The Million Man March was a good example of that. One of my idols is Gordon Parks. And Gordon Parks, he told his story through his lens, through his camera lens. He covered the plight of Black America, and he was everywhere. So I kind of model myself after Gordon Parks and a few others, and just always been passionate about just being a voice for the voiceless, and I do that through my camera.
Absolutely, that's amazing. So today is another birthday. It's not just Chingy's birthday today. Who else's birthday is it today?
Well, actually, it's the anniversary for
the death, yes,
of Biggie. So I was fortunate enough to photograph his daughter and mother, as you can see on the screen there. So that was in Philadelphia. And that's Tiana there, Biggie's daughter, the first child, and he also has a son, CJ, who's also here. CJ came to Harrisburg, I think last year.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that was pretty memorable there, Sienna's carrying on Biggie's legacy through her clothing line. Notorious, awesome. You can see her mother, Jan, wearing the Notorious t-shirt.
Love it.
So shout outs to Tiana.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, you have a very just varied and beautiful portfolio. I very much encourage folks to check it out. What's your website? VigorOnline.com.
And you can also follow me on Instagram, VigorOnline03. Appreciate it. Also want to give you and Basir flowers for your show.
Thank you.
You just continue to do a great job.
I hope we can work together on some projects in the future. That would be my dream. So
most definitely.
It's really great. And so tell us about, there's one more. Boster has one up. Tell us about this one.
So that was pretty cool. So let me tell you a quick story. So this photo was selected for the online exhibit called One Lens. That online exhibit was started by the First Lady Frances Wolf, who's also an art enthusiast. So I submitted like 2 photos for the One Lens, and they started posting photos for One Lens, and I didn't see my photo. I'm like, oh man, they didn't select my photo.
Right.
So I'm like, you win some, you lose some. And then all of a sudden, the one gentleman posted the photo online of the Harrisburg magazine cover.
Oh, wow.
So Harrisburg magazine decided to include a photo from One Lens, and they chose, out of like 300 photos, they chose mine.
That's amazing. I love it. I love that. And here's one more.
Yeah, so so I'm like a walking music encyclopedia.
Literally you.
I always like to tell stories. So this is ODB from Wu-Tang.
Wow.
And I'm not sure if anyone knows, but
No, I don't know who that is. No.
well, as far as where he resided, O Dirty also resided here.
Wow.
And
now I did not know that.
Yeah, I ran into him twice. The first time was at the Harrisburg Mall. I think I had just left work. I was at the food court, like, O Dirty? So I went ahead and grabbed a Chick-fil-A napkin. Chick-fil-A was at Harrisburg Mall at that time, and he signed an autograph for me. Yeah. But this is right outside of Dragonfly on 2nd Street in Harrisburg.
What's Dragonfly now? It's something now.
I forget.
Yeah.
But so this was pretty memorable because this was actually this was like maybe 6 months before he passed.
Oh wow.
So this was pretty memorable here. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, so I just want, I like to document just to let people know Harrisburg's a small city, but we definitely have some celebrities that come through the area, and even prominent politicians.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for sharing this time with us. This is amazing. We are coming towards the end, but you stick around for a second. We're gonna play a game, and I am so glad that you got to come back.
Thank you.
You've always been so, just like you said, giving us our flowers for doing this work. This is a community we're building, and I'm very glad that you're part of it. So thank you so much. Thank you. Leon Lang, everyone. All right. We'll be right back after this with Last Lap. Then we're getting out of here. We gotta go home.
Sis.
Thank you, Anthony.
Hey, sis. Do these folks have you effed up out here? At work, school, and play? Well, boy, do I have the book for you. Introducing You Got Me Effed Up by none other than Tamarisk M. Locke. This book is all about setting boundaries and making sure that you stick to them and teaching you that it's okay to have those boundaries. I also encourage you to check out her other merch. All of it's amazing. She has t-shirts, she has other pieces of merchandise that will help you remind yourself about setting those boundaries. You can also check out the bag she has as well. You can order everything right from her website. I use this book daily to help me remember to set my boundaries, stick to them, and do what's best for me in the situation so that I can serve others. So go ahead and cop her book today. I'll have all the information on how you can get your copy right at the end of this commercial.
What kind of like magic dust gets sprinkled on this show every time we have it, but that was an amazing set of guests. Thank you so much to our guests. You guys were amazing. That was just getting to learn about each of you is always such a joy for me. So we're gonna play a little game because it is Women's History Month. This is how you play online. If you go online. If you guys are in the chat, you get to win something. I don't know yet. But if you're in the studio and you're an audience member, if you get a question right, and I can see you because I may not be able to, you get a $10 Amazon gift card. There are 3 questions. Are you ready? Now, the guests are your lifelines. If you don't know the answer, you can only use one of them one time. So 1, 2, 3, those are the 3 people, okay? So you got Mr. Dave Matson over here. You got Ms. Khadija Kenner over here. You got Mr. Leon Lang over here. Their names all are kind of cool, right? So let's go. Number 1, are you ready? Here. Only 2 people are ready. Are you guys ready? Yeah. All right, okay. I was also a teacher, and I used to do that to my kids, like, oh, y'all ain't ready, and I sit back down. Anyway, so Congress first declared March as Women's History Month in 1897, 1937, or 1987. Let's see. Let's see this young man right here in the middle.
1987.
Yeah, that's right, 1987. That's wild. Like, that wasn't even, oh, I can't count tonight. It's not that long ago. Okay. So, yeah, that's the first one. So tell me your name, good sir.
My name is Marquise Lupton.
Hey, Mr. Marquise Lupton! You get a $10 gift card. Okay, next. Number 2, International Women's Day was yesterday. What is the official color of International Women's Day? Hint, it's also used for the entire Women's History Month. Who's that?
Darian Carter.
Hey, Darian, what's up? Is it A, purple, B, pink?
Hey, it's definitely purple.
It's definitely purple. Good job. Very good job. Very good job. Number 3, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you can't answer if you already answered, so you're disqualified. All right, it's terrible. Horrible. Okay. They know the answers, yes. And so, this last one, you should get it pretty easily, all right? Don't disappoint me. To date, the nation's youngest inaugural poet is Amanda Gorman, Kyla Janae Lacey, or Asia Monet. Let's see. Nobody knows this one? Sure. I said don't disappoint me. Okay, go ahead. State your name for the record.
My name is...
You can give a fake name if you want. You ain't got to tell everybody.
I'm the Sarge.
The Sarge, yes, the Sarge is in the building. So listen, the TCP crew showed up tonight. I love you guys, so amazing.
Love you too.
Yeah. So Sarge, you want to read it again?
Yes, please.
All right. To date, the nation's youngest inaugural poet is Amanda Gorman. That's A. B. Kyla Janae Lacey. Or 3. Asia Monet.
Well, my name starts with A.
Yes, it does.
And A is the first letter of the alphabet.
It is.
And that's the one I'm going to pick. First one. And I'm wrong.
Oh, the first one?
Yes.
You are correct. 3 or no. You guys knocked it out of the park. So see me after. I'm going to hook you up with a $10 Amazon gift card. It's not a lot because this is a nonprofit organization. So you listen, we can ball out on Amazon at $10 each, and you can get you a whole bucket of toothbrushes on Amazon for $10. All right. So this is my favorite part, and then another favorite part, and at the end. Wow. 9:36, Gib. Not bad. So ask Dr. K. We don't have any questions tonight because I ain't check them. So submit your questions at askdrk@kimeka.org. We always take questions from politics to personal. Folks have asked about counseling and different things, so definitely submit your questions. I'm sending somebody to hell tonight. Okay. Go to hell, Scott Perry. I'm tired of you. You came to our city to take photo ops when you never come over here to talk to black or brown people, ever. You are a racist insurrectionist. Go to hell. And that's a personal go to hell from Kimeka G. Campbell, PhD. Thank you very much. Very good. Very good. Very good. Listen, he running around here taking pictures. I don't care who you take pictures with. You can still go to hell. But I heard that he dropped out the race. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? That's the word on the street. Make it so, Internet. All right. So last but not least, be kind to yourself. Love on yourself. And when no one else does, big up your own self. I love you all. Thank you for coming to the show. You guys are amazing. And I'll see you for our big Women's Day celebration on March the 23rd. See y'all soon. Good night.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless